In this week's story, we will recount the area where the tale was written, the cult of Lexington County, then give you tonight's terror tale. During the colonial period of South Carolina in 1759, 1760, and 1761, in the Dutch Fork area, there was a local cult named the Weberites. This all started with a man named Jacob Weber. Weber, who came to the area around Saxagotha around 1739. Weber and his followers began sacrificing animals in the name of God as in accordance to the Old Testament. Nude dance ceremonies were often orchestrated and several members were forced to join. The state of this religious following turned full cult when Weber determined he himself was God and another man named John George Schmidt-Peter was determined to be Jesus Christ incarnate. An escaped slave named Dubar was supposedly the Holy Spirit. An ordained minister visited the cult, and upon his refusal to call Weber God, he was nearly drowned by the cult in the Broad River. Several murders took place. One, in particular, involved Schmidt-Peter murdering a man to attempt to prove he could raise the dead. Schmidt-Peter himself was trampled to death by the cult once he was determined to be the devil in disguise. Weber was executed by hanging upon intervention by local authorities. Many of the Weberites were pardoned by the governor at the time. I have decided to frequent areas at night where locals have told me the cult used to meet. In particular, I chose a clearing in the forest where the cult would hold nude dance rituals. The area here is rugged and overgrown, making it an uncomfortable place to dwell in body and soul. The wind blows memories of an ancient past into my ear as I pen this next horror tale. My limbs tremble as the dances of the past linger about. I usually begin by writing poems, but in this case I began to write of broken and damaged things. I also began to think of the dead men slain by the cult, and what their thoughts may hold. What an interesting concept, the dreams of the dead. Also, the mere existence of thought without morality or contained essence of the human soul began to overtake my thoughts. I began to write, engulfed by the idea of synthetic thought. Penning the names of deities of the Abbott universe, I finally settled on Kahala. As I write, I feel the call of a terrifying tale, one that I label as tonight's terror tale, the dead man's dream. Broken and damaged things emit their own special kind of beauty, holding power over the dominion of longing and understanding, bred in the pits of sorrow and despair. It's a poetic balance of life and death. It's in her eyes. In them you see a black void. Within them I dare to stare into that which you avoid. I look into her soul, her innermost darkness, and find myself longing for more. We sit upon the hill of broken souls, our heart's blood beating, as one in an unrelenting union of darkness and light. In the paradigm shift of good and evil, I find myself lost within that incorrigible realm of gray. That irrelevant dream that haunts my every step as I lie dead and bloated in the bowels of death gives me only the most fevered dreams. She, that damned demon of sight and sound, haunts me within twisted memories of dread and death. The spark of thought that ignites its all grows dim within me, releasing sights unseen even by the demons of hell. Last scribe of Lyndon Adrian, killed September 16th. I have seen them, the dreams of dead men. They haunt me in the most soiled remnants of my sanity. As a neuroscientist, I find this equally terrifying and fascinating. Strangled breath. It is a sensation one can never forget, yet it overtakes me every night. As the thoughts of the dead bombard me, I feel strangled, as if the hands of death itself clench upon me with rampant hate. I see them withered and blue, the men whose dreams have been stolen. They stand bound in blood, entwined, emotionless in their dreams, as they play out. Before me, Lyndon. He was the first whose dreams I would see. Within the dreams, it feels as if I'm suffocating, observing the events as an outward observer. His thoughts rummage amongst my own, pillaging my memories for their own stagnant will. What a notion, human thought having a will of its own. But dare I say, that is an accurate assumption. These dreams seem to possess a living will capable of ungodly intrusions. Upon the sails of terror, I would travel, drifting upon a galleon of lost and dreaded dreams. His world is nearly ajar with the angles and corners oddly protruded. An inadequate description escapes me. These beings, if that is even accurate, cannot be fully explained. The horrible demons that must claw at this man to imagine such horror. resting, gnarled into the earth. They exist in a bizarre, ethereal trance, living deeply into the heavens. The pattern of their bodies move at impossible dimensions, intertwined within their very essence. In constant flux with the fear-ridden rhythm of my heart, they convulse with splintered skulls and rotten innards. Unable or unwilling to move, they lie dug into the smoldering earth, acting as a voracious battery of mortal fear. Dear me, the vivid horror of this man's mind. As the dream started, I stood within a smoldering neighborhood, whose homes crack and groan with broken doors. Inside them lie the true horror of this nightmare. As I approached the first door, it swayed, as if waving goodbye to my sanctity, and God help me. I approached, almost curious as to what lied within. I hope you enjoyed part 1 of tonight's terror tale, The Dead Man's Dream. Join us next for part 2, if you dare. Thank you for listening, and subscribe to Advent Wrath for more stories like this. If you want unadulterated, unfiltered, uncensored horror, subscribe. See you soon.